In this week's episode, let's take a look at two important rules to help you get your horse shown correctly. Rule 8A, holding on too long, and Rule 8, example 2D, hand too far forward.
Judging Rule 8A. A horse must be released as soon as the desired animal is clear of the other cattle. Additional reining, cueing, or positioning will result in a 1-point penalty for each occurrence.
Okay, let's take a look at this example now. This is just the opposite of hand too far forward. If you'll notice, this contestant, when he lays his hand down, it's back there in a pretty good position towards the front of that saddle. But the longer he works his cow, the further his hand goes forward up that horse's neck. It's a visible cue. A 1-point penalty would be deducted. Let's take a look at Rule 8A, holding on too long. Now remember, his contestant's coming up through the body of the herd there, brought traffic cattle out. He must release his horse and drop his hand when the last traffic cow has cleared his horse's hip. So you'll notice right there, when those two cows, those traffic cows, cleared that horse's hip, that rider must have his hand already down. Okay, now let's go look at the second cut. Same rider, second cut. Okay, again, let's take a look here at holding on too long. Different cut. You'll notice he's kind of over here. He's got two cows now. That last traffic cow right there has cleared his horse's hip now. So that rider had a long time to get his hand down, just simply the fact that black cow was so slow getting behind his horse and clearing that horse's hip. So that can happen many different ways. Now, if a contestant goes over to outer third right here, it's still got his hand up and turns that horse around, headed back towards the middle, then you've got a holding on too long, a bad cut, and a reining point because he had to redirect and turn his horse around to get going back across the middle of the pen. So on a cut, holding on too long occurs when the rider keeps his hand up too long and doesn't drop it when the last traffic cow has cleared his horse's hip. Okay, let's take a look at Rule 8, Example 2D, the hand too far forward rule. If you'll notice, this contestant, even though he's laid his hand down and he's somewhat keeping it still while he's working his cow, it's way too far forward. 1-point penalty for each occurrence. In other words, if he does this on one cow, then you deduct 1 point. If he does it on 2 or 3 cows, you deduct it each time it occurs. I hope you enjoyed this episode and these two rules and how important it is to get your horse shown correctly without any takeaways.